Hiya, welcome back to the channel. We are going to do something really exciting today, and if you haven't guessed already from the thumbnail and the name of the video, I'm going to remove that, and that. So then everything, you won't be able to tell that the car is a Citroen after I've done that. So I've purchased some of the special tooling required from the car badge removal shop. If you haven't got a car badge removal shop local to you, then you can use like dental floss. And there are other methods of this actually. This is just one method that I'm going to do, which uses fishing wires. And so as you might imagine, I am going to need to unravel some fishing wire of about that sort of length. And then, fucking hell. Yes. Alright, that sort of length. That sort of length. Hold on. This isn't going to plan. I've got about 20 foot of fishing wire now, but that'll be enough. So if I cut that off in a nice, sensible manner. Fucking hell. That's not very sharp. This is not going well. Hold on. Yes. Right, so now I've got a nice neat collection of fishing wire. I'm going to try and take the badges off. Right, we'll start small. We'll start with that curly cur. And I'll be honest with you, British November, probably not the best time to do this. Sunny, warm, dry would be beneficial because it'll soften the glue up. Because, well, warming it up. I mean, heat gun could help. Not pulling the fucking extension lead out, can't be bothered. So I'm just, fuck it, let's try it anyway. This fishing wire is way too long to be practical. Yes! Yes! Actually, that works quite well. Yes! Significantly easier than I expected it to be. Yes. This is just E with eyes on top of it. Yes. And the N. And now we don't know. So look now, as you can see, it doesn't say Citroen anymore. So that's the fishing wire technique. And it does work, as you can see. I mean, we've got a bit of tidying up to do, but it does work. I'm going to try an ice scraper technique. Yes. Also works. Not very well. You know what? Let's try something else. Can't bother getting a heat gun because I can't bother getting an extension out in the pissing down rain or what have you. But kettle full of hot water can't do any harm, can it? Just get this nice and lovingly warm. See if that makes any difference. Nah, exactly the same. Yes. Yeah, so in all honesty, I do think that the cheese wire is more effective than the ice scraper in doing a more thorough job, but I can't really be bothered getting. Yes, there we go. Right, so now I've just got to get rid of the glues. Before we start doing that, I want to point out, the observant amongst you might notice that it is now raging sunshine, and it's a different day because, well, I was out, well, it was going dark and I was busy, I had stuff to do, so I had to leave it. But I've come back to it, and we need to get this glue off. But before we start, cleanliness is key, I think. So I've got a bit of the washing up liquid in a professional dispenser, and my best microfiber detailing sponge. So now I've got a clean and fresh surface prepared nicely to get this glue off with. I'm going to try a few different things. Now, you've got to be careful now. I've got an advantage here because I'm doing it on glass, so I'm not have to worry about taking paint off. But just to test, I'm going to put some on the paint as well, just to see. So I'm going to try some carb cleaner. I'm going to try some lighter gas. I'm going to try some WD-40 cheap alternative. I'm going to try some actual stuff that's designed to actually do this shit. So first, let's go from left to right. Start with that. Right, so there we go, here with some carb cleaner. Now, ideally, you would use like a caramel wheel or something on this, but I ain't got one of them, so I'm going to use this. So carefully apply it in a loving technique, and then we'll see if it does anything to the paint as well. I'll leave that soaking. Next. Yes. Yes. It's not very applicable. There we go. Oh, that's fucking freezing. Try it on paint, see if it does anything. I'm going to leave them to soak in a little bit, by the way. WD-40 cheap alternatives. Just seems to be not doing a whole lot. Apart from next time I go to lift the boot hatch up, I'm probably going to slip off and push myself in the face, which will be sick. And the stuff that's actually designed to do this sort of stuff, just carefully apply some of that and leave it a couple of minutes and try and scrape the shit off. Right, so I've left all three of them soaking for 5 minutes or so. These ones, as I expected, have just dried, just evaporated. This one's still got some WD on it. This one seems to be the most effective, to be honest with you. But let's compare. So I'm going to go back to the ice scraper because it's not like to scratch anything, but it isn't that effective, to be honest with you. Now, if you had a plastic, I don't know, fucking credit card, would work better than this, but I haven't got one because I just haven't got one. This, if you're doing it on paintwork, also just, you know, don't use anything that's gonna, well, be as bad as that on paintwork, because on glass, you're unlikely to scratch the glass unless you're sort of trying to scratch the glass. So you've got the advantage of being able to use something a little bit more aggressive. Because obviously use that on paint, it's gonna scratch the paint, innit? But on this, we're on glass, so we're okay, I think. Let's keep on looking. That is probably done nothing to help getting it off that part. Carb cleaner on it, yeah. Lighter fluid. Probably something similar. Right, let's try WD. Okay, being honest, also not very effective. Maybe I should just buy a caramel wheel. Right, let's try. Hopefully this is going to be the saving grace and this is actually going to work. Yes. Yes. Right, so that's doing something. That is having an effect. Right, so it's taking a lot of it off. So I'm just going to go back and I'm just going to use that on all of it. Yes. Right, so it works. But I'll be honest with you, it's a little bit tedious, this. Try getting the excess off. I'm getting a bit fed up with that, and like I said, I'm doing this on glass, which, you know, don't take this as like, what I say, reliable information. But glass is quite forgiving for not getting scratched because it's hard. So it's harder than metal and whatever that you're going to scratch it with. So, you know, it doesn't usually that easy to scratch, but it can be scratched. So anyway, I'm going to try this and see if it does it without scratching glass. The answer is that it scratches the glass. I had a feeling that might happen, so it looks like it's back to the manual method. And in all honesty, I would advise to warm it up first. And I thought I'd be clever and try using a grinder on it, which I sort of knew what was going to happen, but I did it anyway because I'm a fucking idiot. So at least you don't have to do that to find out. If you take nothing away from this video apart from that, then you've learned something, haven't you? Don't put a grinder against your glass because it will scratch it. It's sort of like common sense, but you know, it's like when someone tells a kid that fire's hot, but it touches it anyway. So I knew what was going to happen, but you gotta do your own experiments in life. Anyway, this I'm just going to keep on doing this until all the glue's gone. I mean, this is not as bad on the lettering. Just keep on applying our sticky stuff remover until it's dissolved it all. It's quite tedious. And then eventually you might get to a situation where you've no more glue left. There's little bits left, and get it all off until it stops. When it stops coming off, you sort of know that you've got it all off then. It's self-explanatory really. So I'm just going to get it until there's none left. So once we've got rid of all that glue, we need to give it a good wipe. And then sort of get you revealing of how exciting it's going to look without the badges on. But there is a chance, a good chance to be honest with you, that, unless this will show up, let's show up, can you see it on the camera? There we go. We've got an outline going on of where the badges used to be. So I'm going to try and polish that off and just see how that turns out. Which brings me to this contraption, which I purchased to actually, well, do the headlights. Come with a headlight kit, but I've used it a few times and it's definitely got my money's worth out of it. And just some teacups. So I've got some carefully applied teacup. And honestly, I'm not expecting all this to disappear, but we'll try and get rid of some of it, won't we? And I think we're getting here actually. And once you've had enough of doing that, give it a wipe. Which leaves us with something like this. Now, obviously the car is going to need a quick wash, which I'm going to run it through car wash to get rid of all this polish that's everywhere. But as you can see, clearly, this is a massively effective way to make your car more stylish, more sleek, more aerodynamic, and obviously faster. You know, especially if it's a C1 Aygo or a 107. It's just, well, a very, very effective modification of just improving the vehicle in every aspect of handling and design. As far as the where the badges were, so I'll give it a bit of a polish, as you witnessed, if you're still with us for this long, to be honest with you. And the only one that you can really see is that. I mean, if you look hard enough, you can see, if you get the right light, you can see where they were, but you have got to really look. So let's take the shitter through car wash and get a quick exterior detail done and see how it looks then. And as is clearly visualised, no more really needs to be said, as it is just full of elegance and grace, and it's just so much better in every way. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Here's a couple of stickers that I sent out, and don't forget to comment and all that shit. See you next time.